Bitcoin hasn't been moving for weeks now. People say crypto is completely dead, and there's not enough liquidity for the expected volatility. Yet, Ethereum is creating a powerful pattern that may help you make a good profit with its next move. Yesterday, Gareth did a close analysis of it and what move you can expect to happen next. So check this out.
This is the Ethereum chart. All right, so the Ethereum chart, by the way, literally no movement on crypto. With all of the data that I just talked about, with the stock market doing this, China doing that, Japan, crypto, Bitcoin, nothing. I mean, at some point it will wake up. But this is why, by the way, this is why you have to be a trader that trades everything. All right, because when crypto's dead, I trade stocks. When stocks are dead, I can trade crypto or commodities. I can trade them all at the same time. Heck, you even can dabble in real estate when real estate's good, right? And so again, by learning everything I teach in the Winning Trader series, I think it's really important because it can be applied to everything. All right, so here we have, check this out, guys. On this chart, there's something called a head and shoulders pattern. All right, in fact, I'm gonna go over here so you guys can really see. And essentially a head and shoulder pattern, you can see right here, bear with me as I freeze this up, right? So here's your shoulder, here's your head, and here's your shoulder, okay? So when we look at that shoulder, and this is called your neckline, from this, basically from the armpit of the shoulder, right, to the armpit of the shoulder. You connect a trend line right through there. That's called the neckline. Now, head and shoulders have actually a relatively high failure rate compared to a lot of other patterns. Oftentimes, a good pattern will be successful 70 to 75% of the time. I would say you're closer to 65 to 70 on head and shoulders, but that's because they sometimes trigger and then fail by getting back above. What is triggering? Let's talk about that. Triggering only occurs when price gets below the neckline. Price must break the neckline to trigger. Now, once it triggers, this is why head and shoulders are actually really cool, right? Yes, they have a slightly higher failure rate. By the way, how does a head and shoulders fail? If it closes daily candle below here and then closes back above, failed.
That's what we're talking about. Ethereum is forming a head and shoulders pattern, and Gareth even goes further, explaining that if that level breaks, this is the next target for Ethereum. So pay attention.
This is the cool part. So essentially, what you do, and this is a secret, guys. So listen in. This is education. This is one out of about 1,000 tips that I go over in the Winning Trader series at Verified Investing, verifiedinvesting.com. But basically, to calculate the target on a head and shoulders pattern, what you do is you take the highest point of the head, you drop a plumb line straight down, you take that distance, and then you, from the break point, wherever it breaks on the neckline, you do that same distance. Now, what's amazing about this is if you do that, so it's basically like a measured move. You're getting this distance, and you should get that distance to the downside. All right, now what's crazy about that is that if this occurs, this brings us to approximately 1,100. So if this trend line breaks and this head and shoulders plays out, you're talking about an $1,100 target on Ethereum. Will it happen? I don't know. It hasn't triggered yet. For all we know, Ethereum's gonna go like that and never trigger. If it triggers, then it's possible. Now, by the way, if we go up and we take out the high over here, it can no longer be a head and shoulders pattern. Now you can't have, remember, human body, shoulder, shoulder, heads higher. That's the pattern. Always has to be shoulder lower, higher head, shoulder lower. And again, generally it's a little bit more complex, but that's one of the things to look for. Now, one of the interesting things about this, right, is that I always look for where's the target on a head and shoulders pattern, okay? And then I look to see is there another level in that area? And what we can see here is that if we look right down in this range, there's a level right here, okay, at this double bottom right here that matches perfectly with that target. That's pretty cool stuff, guys.
So if Ethereum breaks the neckline, we can expect it to go to 1,100. Even today, Gareth also did another explanation of this pattern, and you can see that this is the most likely scenario to happen soon. And by the way, Bitcoin is making a different pattern than some say. Instead of following a head and shoulders pattern, it follows a trend line. If it breaks, these are Gareth's targets.
All right, so we talked about the head and shoulders on Ethereum, shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline. A lot of people are like, oh, there's a head and shoulders on Bitcoin as well. Wrong. All right, when you hear this, it's wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why it's wrong. This is more education that, again, even good traders, they don't know this crap. and I'm gonna make sure that when you guys tune into this game plan, I'm gonna give you everything I know over the last 24 years now. I just calculated it out. I started trading in 1999, folks, just into that .com bubble. Whew, that was crazy. Just like many people, by the way, probably started trading in 2021 into the top on Bitcoin. That was me just in 1999. But the more important thing is, this is the problem. A head and shoulders has to be a human formation. Now, it can be a little lopsided, right? You can be a Quasimodo or something like that. That's fine. What you can't have is this high is lower than this, right? All right, that can't happen. All right, a head and shoulders, you cannot have a shoulder that is higher than the head. And in this case, this one's higher. Now, please understand, it doesn't negate the fact that this is an amazing trend line to watch. And if we break this trend line, honestly, we're heading to 25, then we're likely heading to 20, and maybe even back down here. It doesn't change the fact that that's a major trend line, but the reason why head and shoulder patterns are so freaking important is because you can calculate the target. If we go back to ETH, right? So if we go back to ETH here, and we go to this, all right, here's your ETH chart. The reason why this is such a good pattern formation is because you have the shoulder, the head, and notice again, the head is the highest point of either shoulders. Here's your neckline. It's that with head and shoulders, it allows you to calculate the target. All right, when it's just a regular trend line, you don't get that edge. And that's why head and shoulders are important. Now, again, there's so much misinformation out there. I want you guys to understand. Drop the plumb line from high there. When it breaks, wherever it breaks the trend line, you drop that same plumb line, and that gives you the target. All right, it's a measured move. From here to here should be here to here. That should be the target on a head and shoulders pattern.
So please also watch this video from Benjamin Cowan, where he explains why Bitcoin is heading lower starting this month until the end of the year. It may help you save your investments and avoid getting wiped out.